the New England 125 at New Hampshire International Speedway, so the drivers oblige and do just exactly that. So a lot of horsepower is fired up down on pit road as we get ready to go racing here. 125 laps on the track they call the Magic Mile. You can see the beautiful newly surfaced racetrack there, and it's provided a lot of good side-by-side racing and good side-by-side practice and qualifying sessions here so far this weekend. Before we get started, let's take a look at the starting grid. Can't tell the players without a scorecard. Take a look. Notably, Matt Kobieluk, who qualified in the 5th position, will be starting at the rear of the field. Martin Truex is on the pole. Andy Santerre is the points leader, will start outside row number 2. Former motorcycle racer Dale Quarterly will be by himself back there in the Kobieluk spot. Brian Hoare, track record holder here prior to this season's race, starts back in the number 10 spot. Move to the second page here, or row number 6 for this one, and it's also going to be a missing spot. Mike Johnson has to go to the back of the field. He had a crash in practice this morning, went to a backup car, and will start from the rear. Ted Christopher, watch out for him, a former winner here at this race, as well as Paul Wolf. We've got a lot of talent in the field here, and some of it is spread all the way through to the back. We'll have a total of 39 cars will start, some of them taking provisional positions here, and among these drivers, Jeff Fuller, a lot of the fellows who will be starting in the back might be looking for a partner to head for the front.
They really do. I mean, you know, this racetrack, you don't really talk about like a Daytona or a Talladega when it comes to aerodynamics or whatever, but it does play an effect here, and like I say, it doesn't hurt to have somebody working with you out there.
The pace car pulls away right now, and the first line of drivers does the same. Our onboard look here today will come from the number 9 of Paul Wolf, and he will start in the on the row number 8 from the 15th position in his Topps Friendly Markets Dodge. See him reaching for the shifter there, doing the things he has to do to get his day started in this New England 125. So they'll bring the cars up to speed, give them a couple of laps to scrub in the tires just a little bit. While they do that, we're going to do this. Take a break right here at New Hampshire International Speedway. When we come back, the green flag will be waving, and you'll see it all on Speed. Welcome back to New Hampshire International. The car still circling the track, about a lap from going green. Lights are out on the pace car. 39 cars will start this one, 125 laps, 132.25 miles. You can see the purse and the pit window, Jeff Fuller, I find to be interesting. Kind of a short pit situation here. For more on that, let's go to Bob Dillner.
Well, strategy will play out on pit road today. I spoke to a lot of the teams, and they said they are going to short pit. Maybe around lap 25 to lap 50, you'll see most of these teams come down onto pit road. In fact, Ryan Moore told me if he gets a caution at about lap 15, you'll see him on pit road. What do you think about that, Jeff Fuller?
Man, I'll tell you what, you know, that's good because track position means everything here, and that could be an excellent idea. Here they go.
Green flag is waving. Martin Truex Jr. takes some racing. His father won here 9 years ago, his only win in 1994, and nearly 9 years to the day, Martin Truex Jr. won here as well. So a little bit of problem in the back of the field, and we're going to be watching some of the drivers like Matt Kobieluk in that number 40 Mohegan Sun car coming forward. But right now, the leader is your number 6, Andy Santerre. We're watching him. The 35 right there is Brad Layton. And what a winner and what a story Brad Layton is as he comes back to racing here with a new team. He's looking to head to the front, too.
I just can't believe how good. I saw him run like last race, and for a guy that doesn't do this full time to come in here and do the things that he's done has totally amazed me. I mean, these guys do it week in, week out. They get their combinations, their notes all set, and he shows up every couple races and goes out and spanks them. I mean, they do an excellent job.
Some passes for position early in the race as the 99 of Greg Schaefer goes down low, side by side, a little bit loose in front of him, and we've got a problem already with the 0 car turned around on the racetrack out there. That's Tim Andrews. He gets it going, and no yellow flag. No yellow flag.
No caution.
So Tim Andrews turns the car around, gets it straightened out again. We're still racing, and
here.
Yep, he's going to be coming down, another car coming down pit road, the 30 car of Denny Doyle. Doyle brings his Monte Carlo down slowly to the bottom of the racetrack. Richards Corporation Chevrolet. Something's definitely amiss with that car. And the 5 car is also on pit road, Barney McRae. So we've had a little bit of early teething problems here and some very early pit stops, just 4 laps in.
Now these guys will start their pressures a little bit low, and they're still getting built up. You can see when they jump on the gas, the car is getting a little bit loose in this and that. And like I say, I mean, they may start them 4 or 5 pounds under what recommended is.
Martin Truex, the pole sitter, leads Brian Moore in this race in the 74 car. There's the 6 car right there. That's Andy Santerre. He's the points leader. Had to start a little bit deep in the field. Starting on row number 2, let's go to Bob Dillner.
Well, Andy Santerre is a multi-time winner in this series. In fact, he's won 3 so far this season, and he is the defending champion. He is in the Joe Bessie-owned team. I spoke to Andy right before the race. He said he has the best car he's ever had at the Magic Mile, and that could spell trouble for the rest of the competition today.
Well, he's certainly on a roll. Started 3rd, started 4th, moved up 1 position as they fell in line. And so Santerre looking awful good, feeling confident before the start of the race.
I'll tell you, you know, they really got an advantage. Joe Bessie, the car owner, ran Busch South. He ran a Winston Cup car owner, and actually ran at the Oxford 250 here a week or 2 ago, and finished 8th, I believe. So they've got a really strong team there, and he is so smooth.
Watching some pretty good battles going on right now. The 35, that is Brad Layton. And Layton, a 2-time Busch North champion, the winner of this race in 2002. His car owner, Bob Torriere. And a new team put together. Brad Layton had an interesting story about him. He's been bothered with a cold and just hasn't been feeling very well all week long. He's trying to fight that off. But along with that, he lost his voice, laryngitis. So he was working out a Morse code signal system with his crew. 2 clicks is bad, 1 click is good. But he didn't have to use it because he can talk again.
The best medicine for him right now is if that car is running good, he won't. He probably just doesn't want to talk to his crew chief.
Take a look at the 40 car. Matt Kobieluk has come halfway through the field. 39 cars started this race. And 8 laps in, Matt Kobieluk is already heading for the front. You'll see his position change constantly as the standings scroll across the top of your screen. Matt Kobieluk in the Mohegan Sun entry number 40 out of Uncasville, Connecticut.
He is really working that right now. I mean, obviously, a lot of these crew chiefs may have different agendas. Maybe they want to stay out there later, or maybe they want a short pit, but nobody's going to do the same thing here. And you can tell he's really giving that car a ride. He's not saving much right now.
Let's go to Bob Dillner once again for the 52 on pit road.
Well, Jerry Marquis is on pit road. They are backing that car up to the garage area right now, and it's been a tough day for that team. They had brake problems in the practice session, got 0 laps out on the racetrack. Jerry was hoping for a good run, but they're going back to the garage with more brake problems.
Oh, and the 06 car's got an even bigger problem as Ryan Seaman is up against the wall. That's going to wave the yellow flag for the first time here in the New England 125. He gets the car going again, but not before the field is slowed down. So our first caution comes 11 laps into 125 scheduled here today.
That's right where the fuel goes in the car, right where he got it right there, the tire mark right there. And the biggest problem with that is he may have not bent anything, but if they can't get fuel in the car, he's going to be in trouble.
They will not be able to go 125 laps without fueling the car, so they can pretty much pick when and where they want to fuel them up. Turn 2 is the offending scene, and here he is way down.
It almost looks, Brian, like you get up out of the groove a little bit too much. There's a lot of marbles and speedy dry up there, and when you get up that high, it's like driving on ice.
Lap 9 actually out of 125. The 06 car goes backwards into the wall. Ryan Seaman's going to have some problems that he'll have to deal with here. Right now we're going to take a short break, come back in just a moment to New England. A lap from going racing again here at the New England 125 as the NASCAR Busch North Series on speed continues. And there is a lot more coming up. Our next telecast in the Racing Across America series here on Speed with the NASCAR's Grand National Division Busch North from the Waterford Speed Bowl. August 16th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. All of you Busch North fans, that's where you need to be, right in front of your TV set, watching our next telecast here. Cars are circling the racetrack. An interesting note, number 30, Danny Doyle in the Richards Corporation Chevrolet, first car out of the last 2 races. So he's got a streak of a very different kind going. And he's returning to the racetrack right now, trying to get him back out there. So Danny Doyle heads back out onto the racetrack. After an early exit, he re-enters.
Yeah, that's not stats you want to be proud of. Hey, 15 laps into this, let's see who was fibbing. I think they were fibbing when they said they'd come in at 15 laps, because I just don't think they can make it on fuel. Well,
the pace car is coming in, and the restart will go with lead lap cars on the outside and a very few cars not on the lead lap down on the inside line. The green flag waves, and the pole sitter, Martin Truex, in his Sea-Watch International Chevy, takes him to the green, and what a great start he got.
He hit the gears. I mean, a lot of these guys, they'll use first gear. When they go up through the gearbox, a normal deal is just start at second speed, bring it up to like 7,800 or 8,000 RPM, shift to third, fourth. But a lot of these change the gear ratios in the transmission and start at first speed. They get a whole lot better shot for the green.
For you Matt Kobieluk fans, his name is going to scroll across the screen here in a very short order in 21st position at last count. So he's definitely moving up through the field, but Martin Truex might be gone by the time he gets there, the way he started and the way he's pulling away from the field right now. Fastest in morning practice, pole qualifier, didn't set a track record, but that's about the only thing he missed. And there's Matt Kobieluk in the number 40 car, riding along with a 38.
Like I say, a lot of these guys are on a different agenda right here. You've got, oh man, you don't go 3 wide.
Down on the inside, the 5-car, Barney McRae having troubles all race long here so far.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be 2 grooves coming in, and they just made it 3. But a lot of them will try to conserve something for the end of the race. You know, their brakes and this and that. But again, there's going to be a lot of them on different agendas. Kelly
Moore in the 47 car, watching him, running well right now in 6th position. Spaces are starting to open up in the field, and that allows the fast cars, some of which started at the back, to start to begin really moving forward.
Yeah, that is definitely the preferred groove right there, the 99 car. I mean, if you can get in there and just push up a little bit, dime in the corner a little bit, come off, that's definitely the groove. The high groove, I mean, I've seen passes made out there, but it's tough to do.
The 99 is Greg Schaefer, looking for a sponsor on his automobile here. 19 laps. We're into the 19th lap of 125. 1 caution so far. Some good side-by-side racing as the 09 of Brian Chu gets passed for position by the 35. Brad Layton also starting to move through the field. Layton currently in 7th place, and the 99 car is the one in front of him right now.
Man, that was close. That was a textbook pass right there. But like I say, when you start coming down, if your spotter isn't on his toes, or, you know, all it takes is just a little nudge right there, and you're going to be in some big trouble.
On board with Paul Wolfe, looking at the 45. That's the track record holder, Brian Hoare, who set that record in qualifying here last year. 29.892 to sit on the pole in 2002. You're riding along with Paul Wolfe.
That's a great shot right there. Paul, I'm glad to see Paul running good. I mean, he's been struggling this year, and they've been working real hard trying to get this new style car that they've got underneath him going. He just had a phenomenal year last year in his rookie season, and they've been struggling a little bit, so it's good to see him running good.
Running in 10th position. You say new style car, what do you mean?
He's kind of accustomed to driving like a Busch North car really is. The way that most guys would explain it is it's a strut type front. It doesn't have your conventional lower A-frames and the ball joint spindles. I mean, it's a lighter setup, and they just drive a whole lot different. And he's trying to get used to the Busch South car right now.
Big line of race cars here, and you can see that the 45 of Brian Hoare moving down on that inside line takes a position away from the 09 of Brian Chu. You're still riding with Paul Wolfe, and these guys are moving up together. 45 car in 8th position.
That's what we were talking about before, not so much aerodynamics, but if somebody opens up a hole and you can get your nose in there, and it makes it so much easier to pass a car if somebody already just made that hole. You just stick your nose in there and follow them.
Wolfe trying to follow Brian Hoare through as they go inside, but up on the high line, the 55 car, Mike Stefanik, is starting to also make his presence known. A little bit of rubbing. Is that racing? Now they say rubbing's racing. That must have been some racing.
That is definitely. Oh no, he just got turned off.
Somebody got him from behind, and Paul Wolfe goes around. Oh, and there's more damage down inside next to him. This is going to be a big mess, and the yellow's definitely coming out right here in
Matt Kobieluk.
Oh, Matt Kobieluk, who had worked up to 19th position, has got a fire under the car just past start-finish line here on the front straightaway at New Hampshire International.
That's actually the fuel pump that got broke off. I mean, the fuel pump is right next to the frame rail that got broke off, and it's just leaking fuel there a little bit.
So the man number 2 in points, qualified 5th, ran from the back of the field up to 19th position and gets caught up in a wreck right here in the home stretch. 25 laps in. 1/5 of the race is done here. The New England 125, and Kobe Luck's out of the car. Okay.
I'm not going to mention Paul Wolf's name anymore. I think I might have just brought him that. I can't believe the struggle that he's been having this year.
So Matt Kobieluk walks away from what is a fire getting slightly bigger, but now the safety crew is over there to put it out. Wolf's trying to get out of his car as well, sensing the danger perhaps. And out he comes. That
Hutchins device that he's got on his back right there, you unhook that. I mean, if there's a fire, you do whatever. You don't have to unplug your helmet or whatever. Just the quickest way you can get out, but that's what that is, a Hutchins device. Both of them have got them on.
Wolf in the Topps Friendly Markets car. Here's another replay. Take a look. The 9's on the inside. Oh, just so close. And Kobieluk is a little bit further behind. The 68 car of Brandon Miller, a very talented young driver. He is the one that makes the contact after the 9 was starting to move around a little bit. What did you see? And there's Kobieluk. Whoa, what a shot.
Man, that was a hard shot. Honestly, that, to me, almost looked like the spotter right here for the 9 car should have said outside, outside, outside. But he might have, the 68 might have been up in the loose stuff and just got, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what the situation was there, and it's so hard to call. Only those two actually know.
About 9/10 of a groove up there for the 68 car of Brandon Miller, and he needed a whole width of car. Watch it again. Bang. Miller gets into the wall first. The rebound catches the 9.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, you can look at it either way. If you're a Paul Wolf fan, you're going to look at it one way, and like I say, oh man, that was a hard hit right there.
In any case, we have had some major attrition here. A Winston West driver, Brandon Miller, who was making the trek all the way across the country to Connecticut, gets caught up in the wreck along with Matt Kobieluk, the number 2 man in the points, who was moving forward in this race too. This is why. We'll be right back. We're back. Cars are using pit road and have been for a while the cleanup goes on out on the racetrack. So you can see Martin Truex Jr., the number 56, qualified on the poles, led every lap, followed by the 74 car, Ryan Moore, who's been there pretty much from the beginning. And now they go to pits. And let's go to Bob Dillner.
Well, the C-Wad Chevy for Martin Truex Jr. is down on pit road. Interesting strategy. Not only a short pit stop, but also fuel only for Martin Truex Jr.
Well, that is an interesting strategy indeed as he follows the 22 car that's going in. Joey McCarthy heading to the pits. Truex coming out. And a little collision on the exit of pit road with the 6 of Andy Santerre, 3-time winner this season. And Truex was that was saying hello to the points leader.
That white line that you saw right there is actually where they score the cars, and they were both trying to beat it to the white line, and they made contact. It pushed Andy Santerre's right front fender, and that will affect him on the 6 car there.
The 74 car beat them all off pit road, so Ryan Moore had the best short stop out of the short stops that pretty much everybody took. And an incident, a major incident here. Our second caution doesn't begin to tell the story of what happened to Paul Wolf, to the 40 of Matt Kobieluk, and also the 68 of young Brandon Miller from California, who had made the trip all the way across the country. A very, very outstanding up-and-coming young driver from out west, also out of this race. But we'll take another short commercial break here. Most of the pit stop action is over. We'll be back in just a moment here at New Hampshire. The cleanup for the most part has been completed. You can see that most of the area, Jeff Fuller, is out of harm's way, if you want to call it that, as the cars will exit turn 4 and head to turn 1. They really won't get down into that part of the racetrack. And the pace car is taking them away. Here's the pit action as Truex comes off pit road. Out comes Andy Santerre, and then what happens? Right
here at this cone, whoever got there, which that car did get there. Now, really, the 56 car should have been more to the outside, because that is actually where you're supposed to exit and enter the pits. But if I was my crew chief on that, if I was a crew chief on the 6 car, I'd be making sure that asking Andy where the steering wheel is, because it almost looks like it hit hard enough where it could have, it could have thrown the toe off. They usually have a piece of tape on top of the windshield, and if that tape moved at all, that steering wheel location moved at all, the toe out's messed up, and it'll be real bad if that's the case.
Well, we'll certainly know when they get back to the green flag. is Andy Santerre scrubbing the tires in just a little bit. He is the points leader coming into this one. With in 7 starts, he has 3 wins, 5 top 5s, 7 top 10. So he's really been more or less a dominator. Matt Kobieluk, who entered this race in 2nd position, will certainly lose that position. There is the damage.
Look at this right here. I mean, the spotter probably had a pair of binoculars making sure that that fender's not rubbing. But I'll tell you what, they run such soft springs in the front of these cars that when they get down in the corner and put their foot on the brake, the valance, the front part of the bumper actually comes down and almost touches the track. So it's a gutsy call. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the crew chief, but you know, they needed to make a decision, and the decision was to leave him out. So I hope that doesn't affect him.
Let's go back to Bob Dillner real quickly.
Well, I just spoke to Andy Santerre's crew chief, Roger Tryon. He told me, yeah, there is a little bit of damage right there, but they don't think it's going to affect the car. Andy's been very happy with the car so far, so hopefully things okay for Andy Santerre.
We're at a racetrack too, Jeff Fuller, that's just a little bit of aerodynamics comes into play, and that valance on the right side directs some air around the rotating tire of the car. Could be a handling problem that you mentioned.
It really could. I mean, it's for sure it's not an advantage.
No, absolutely not. We don't know if there's any similar damage to the 56 of Martin Truex, but there does not seem to be. Now the 5 car, Barney McRae down on the inside, the only car not on the lead lap, starting on the short line. As we get ready to go back to the green, we're racing again in New England on lap number 34. Now the 86 car that stayed out is your leader on the racetrack, Dennis Demers. The 74 that did stop is right behind him.
It's Kelly Moore's son. I'll tell you, he has got such a bright future ahead of him. Ryan is doing an excellent job. There you go, right there. I mean, already.
Yep, Martin Truex in the 56 car down inside, followed by the 99 of Greg Schaefer, goes right past the 6 on the low line. The 6 of Andy Santerre, the points leader. Now they're really searching for passing room here. Heading into turn 2, down the back straightaway. Santerre in the 6 car. No obvious problems yet. Do you see anything?
Just trying to.
The 99 coming up behind him awful easily, but Santerre seems to be pretty much holding his own. He's right behind the 56 of Truex that gave him a bump on pit road. There you can see the damage again to the right front.
It doesn't really seem to be affected, Brian. I mean, he can hold his own. He got up in the high groove there at one time, and he may have gotten some stuff on his tires and got it cleaned off now.
Boy, Truex's car is definitely good. It's been fast since he unloaded it, and we got another problem as the 2 of Lane Chase goes around, and we're going to have another caution on the racetrack. Chase sitting in that very same turn 2, between turns 1 and 2 area, that's caused some problems. Is there something about that part of the racetrack that just gets these guys out of shape up there? The whole field is slowing down as they approach the area now.
What happens is when the cars go into the corner and obviously the tires wear, you know, little bits and pieces from the tires or debris or whatever, they get up against that cement wall right there, and they actually take and bounce off the wall and bounce back into the track, and it takes that last groove away. I mean, that's no man's land. You don't want to be anywhere near that groove up there unless you get forced up there, and then it takes you. Here it is right here. See if he had help.
Oh, he's up there all by himself. Yep. Just lost it.
Man, that just snapped out from underneath him big time. And it really didn't look like he was in the danger zone up there. I mean, he was like, you know, mid to 5/8 track up.
Chase Lane had gotten a provisional start at the tail of the field in 38th position. He had moved up to 30th. And the good news is that he seems to be fine. The safety crew is there taking a look at the back of the car and getting ready to hook it up. And a few more of them are talking to the driver as he gets the net down. Wrecker's in position right now. So another quick caution comes out here at New Hampshire International. And yes, we'll be right back. Lights are out on the pace car here at New Hampshire International. The NASCAR Busch North Series Round 8 for 2003 continues here very, very shortly. Your leader is Dennis Demers. My apologies for mispronouncing his name earlier. And this is his first start in the Busch North Series this season. Finished 19th here last year, and last season had 7 top 10 finishes. Right now, looking good out in front. Stayed out on there. Track position, as you said, Jeff Fuller, is everything. And Dennis Demers must recognize that fact.
That crew chief can't be a big enough gambler to think that they're going to have enough caution laps where they don't have to fuel at all, do you think?
No, of course not.
What do you think? No, seriously.
But counterproductive to the short pit strategy. These guys are going long pit, and they're leading the race. Demers pulling away at the green flag here. Behind him, it is the 56 of pole sitter Martin Truex Jr. And he is pushing hard already. And in fact, Truex in the number 2 spot is not going to waste any time trying to get around. He's making a move right now. Demers moves up the track a little bit, opens the door down low. Truex has got the speed, and he gets loose just a little bit. The leader, Demers. Truex is going to go by on the high line, it looks like. Maybe not. On another caution flag, we must still have something. We've got a car rolling around the track, and very slowly the 66 car brings out another caution here. And
Gary Shackford.
That's exact. Yes, Gary Shackford is brought out another caution. You can see the damage to the rear of his race car, the Victory Junction Gang Chevrolet. So he's got some loose body work there that they'll have to come in and to the attention of the crew.
That would be an advantage right there, Brian. See how that rear bumper cover is up like that, letting the air out from underneath? I mean, I'd like to have a crash car like that, but not like the 6 car's right front fender.
So Shackford pulls up to the back of the field, along with Jack Sellers in the 75 car.
Look at the brake ducts he's got there, those little round things in the front. Here it is right here.
Already at the tail end of it. Might have gotten some help. Little bit of impact with the 98 car of John Serbone is what did the damage.
His right side of that 98 car is probably all ripped off. Hopefully it's going to be where he doesn't, you know, need to pit. It may just be the sheet metal on it.
Just before that caution, we saw an almost lead change, but Dennis Demers is still out in front, and there is the damage to the right front of the 98. Serbone is going to come down pit road, and some big guy body work's going to get done on the right side.
Yeah, see that on the tire itself, you can see where it hit, and like I say, he may know that the steering's out of alignment or something just doesn't feel. Oh, yeah, it looks like he pulling the sheet metal away so it doesn't smoke and you know, rub and blow the tire out.
Under the watchful eye of one of the NASCAR officials. It's our NASCAR Grand National Division races here at New Hampshire International. A full card of racing events this weekend, not the least of which is this Busch North round number 8. A very tight points battle. That's the man leading the championship right now, the 6 of Andy Santerre with 7 top 10 finishes, 3 wins. Let's go down to Bob Dillner again.
And the entire crew for Andy Santerre wants to give a thumbs up to our producer, Jamie Shifton, because during that last caution, they were wondering about that damage on the right front fender on the number 6 car. So our camera crews actually showed it to them on the big screen here, and now they are not worried. They know they can go the entire distance, and it won't hurt that car. So who said TV is not friendly?
Well, Bob, we aim to please, so please aim. I guess we did a good job for him out there. Andy Santerre's crew getting a look that they couldn't get themselves because the damage is on the right side of the race car.
Either that or Shifty likes that team. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Andy Santerre, though, is running right now in the number 3 position. He's behind Truex. Remember, they had that little collision coming off pit road. It's nice that they seem to have at least put that behind them. There didn't seem to be any animosity going on. One of those incidents.
You cannot do that. I mean, you got to stay focused on the job at hand, and you know, if they want to talk a little bit after the race, that's fine, but there's too much at stake to, you know, to be thinking about that at this point.
Running in 4th position, Ryan Moore. It's part of that father-son team we've got going on here this weekend.
How'd you like to be Ryan? I mean, Kelly Moore has been around forever, and he's had so much success in the Busch North Series, and his son, I mean, if he's ever got a question or on setup or a line at the track or whatever the case may be, here he can go to his dad and not worry about having to ask anybody else. Just, you know, take the word from his dad, and that right there in itself is going to make him develop so much quicker as a good race car driver. I mean, he's got a really bright future ahead of him.
The dad, Kelly Moore, yes, his record in Busch North goes all the way back to 1987, a total of 294 starts, a total of 23 wins, 113 top 5s. Yeah, I'd be wanting to ask Dad a thing or two.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, what an opportunity this kid has got.
Great stuff. And that is the 47 of Kelly Moore, the father. You're out of Scarborough, Maine.
And he is not afraid to slice and dice a little bit.
301 starts, including this season, and the 23 wins that we mentioned. Pace car lights are out once again. Your leader is Dennis Demers in the 86 car trying to hold off pole sitter Martin Truex Jr. But for a caution that came pretty quickly a few moments ago, the lead might have changed. We're back to green flag here, lap 46, approaching the halfway mark in this New England 125.
It almost looked like, Dennis, I mean, it is illegal. You cannot pass before you cross the start-finish line unless you do it to the outside. It almost looked like when what is he wiggling? Okay, he just picked up junk on his tires.
And the 86 of Demers. Now, these, we're talking about cars going around him that have much fresher tires. So the 86 car has had its run in the lead right now as Truex goes by and just about disappears. Andy Santerre is trying to follow him, but you can see the gap that Martin Truex Jr. has opened up on the restart in which he took the lead.
I guarantee you that Martin Truex isn't holding anything back. Like I say, I mean, I saw him in a couple races, and the word conserve is not in his vocabulary. He is a hungry, young driver that has, he's actually got a really good deal down south, running some Busch South races too, and he ran a couple for Dale Earnhardt Jr. and again, I mean, he's very aggressive and he's always on the hammer
and very confident. And I spoke with him also before the start of the race. Asked him, you know, you got a fast car, obviously practicing qualifying. Can you win? He said, you know what, those guys are in trouble if this car stays as good as it's been since we unloaded it. And that seems to be the case. Dennis Demers backpedaling through the field right now. He needs to come in for tires. So your leader is Truex. Second place is Santerre. The 74 car of Ryan Moore running in third. That's the son. And the 99 of Greg Schaefer shown in fourth. Schaefer looking for sponsorship. That's the plain white wrapper 99 you'll see every once in a while. Santerre and the 74 of Moore. Good battle for position right now, 50 laps into this one. Truex disappearing out of the picture, and it looks like Ryan Moore having a peek down low.
Yeah, they'll you can look low, but before you execute that move, you got to make sure that that guy knows that you're there. Like I say, when you commit to the bottom groove, you can actually pinch the car off so bad that you lose power coming up off, and it really slows you down. So he'll follow him for a little bit, try to find out where his weakness is, and then take advantage of it.
Ryan Moore currently fourth in points, one spot behind Dad. They've each had a turn at second place. We mentioned 6 different drivers have been second in points over the course of the season behind Andy Santerre. Right now, Ryan Moore is behind Andy Santerre on the racetrack. Santerre leads the points, Moore fourth.
It's for sure a good points battle. I mean, them guys are, and the other thing is the top 15 in points that Irwindale, California, when they go out there, if they're in the top 15 in points, they race for like a $500,000 purse or something. So that's going to be real exciting. That last race of the year there is, and the people that are anywhere from 12th to 18th in points are really going to, you know, put their best effort forward to make that.
There is a big incentive to finish in the top 15th in points. A big money All-Star Showdown at Irwindale Speedway in November is what we're talking about. There's Martin Truex Jr., pole sitter, and the leader of this race. He's 22nd in points. He's only made 3 starts this season, but has a win. 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Got a pretty good record going, and right now he's the man to beat. The 0 car circling the racetrack on your television screen right now. Tim Andrews. Normally we see an 11 on his race car.
Right in the center of the corner, you saw when he got back into the gas, the rear end of that twitched. And you know, that could be caused by too much stagger maybe, or not enough wedge or whatever.
He's following the 93 of Travis Benjamin around, but Bob Dildner's got more about the 0 car driver.
That's right, Brian. Check this out. Knee pads on Tim's dad, Paul Andrews, who of course is the crew chief for Jeff Burton. How'd you do on that first pit stop? I heard you were changing tires.
Yeah, we changed tires. Come out of retirement, you might say. No, not too good. Didn't beat the rear guy, but he's a professional. I'm just an amateur, so it was okay. It was fun.
Your son's doing so well in the series this year. 10th in points, but he lost his ride. This is a one-time deal. What happened?
Yeah, it is. You know, we kind of really hate to see it. We really like the Busch series. It's a great series. Good learning. Good for learning what, you know, how to run a regular point series. He's doing a great job. And unfortunately, those guys kind of ran out of money, and that's just the way it happens.
If somebody wants to pick up a pretty good up-and-coming racer, Tim Andrews is one of the guys.
Running 19th right now is that 0 of Tim Andrews. Doing a pretty good job around the racetrack, scrambling to put a program together here for this New England 125.
You could actually see him soaring on that wheel a little bit. I mean, he is definitely up on the wheel of that car.
45.
Oh, see, that's no man's land, right?
No, Brian Hoare's got a problem. He swings up the racetrack. That was a battle for 7th and 8th position, but Hoare is slowing down, backing up. The 52 of Jerry Marquis goes by. The 29 is knocking on the door behind him, Dave Dion. And there's another car, number 32, squeaking up on the inside. That's Dale Quarterly.
Your buddy Dale Quarterly, I'll tell you, he's doing a good job too.
Quarterly's 6th in points right now. Former motorcycle racer, one of the toughest guys you'll know. And for those of you that know that I do a lot of motorcycle racing on speed, my broadcast partner David Sadowski and this man went tooth and claw, toe to toe, beat each other up so bad that Quarterly decided to go car racing.
A lot safer. It's a lot safer with 4 tires than 2.
Dale Quarterly. Talked to him before the race, and he says, you know, the reason this Busch North Series is so good, he said, it's just a bunch of us hard-headed New Englanders out there, and each and every one of us has the attitude, get out of my way. Quarterly driving a pretty safe race right now, running in 12th position. Patient, biding his time, waiting for the money laps to close in at the later part of this race. So Dale Quarterly staying out of trouble, as is Martin Truex Jr. Had a little problem on the exit of pit road earlier, but since then he's put all of his problems and the rest of the field behind him. Stay with us here on Speed. The New England 125 NASCAR Busch North Series round 8 for the 2003 season continues. Things are getting interesting up front as the 56 of Martin Truex Jr. pole sitter came out, had a little minor collision with the man who's chasing him right now, Andy Santerre. Truex chasing Santerre in the points. Santerre chasing Truex on the racetrack. 62 laps into this one. That means we're right at halfway. And a good battle shaping up as Santerre is slowly making up about 10-15 car length lead that Truex Jr. had on him a while ago.
You never know what Andy's got left. I mean, he has been around this for a long time, and he just is probably conserving.
So Andy Santerre, your points leader, with 3 wins already under his belt here in 2003. And in 3rd place behind him, it's the 74 of Ryan Moore. The young man, son of Kelly Moore, is also out there racing. Father and son team. And there is Ryan Moore going past the 5 car. Just a long, tough day for Barney McRae and his crew. They've been in and out of the pits a half a dozen times, and they're really struggling. Here's another battle for position. You're looking at the 35. That man has won 7 times here at this racetrack, including in his rookie season, 1996. Brad Layton. And Jeff Fuller, you're telling me this man was a professional ice racer at one time up here in the Northeast.
Years ago in New Hampshire, I mean, I got invited up on a lake up here to do a little, I think it was like a quarter-mile track or whatever, and I had never done it before, and I started last, and Brad won the race, and we ended up 2nd. My brother Ricky was in it, and there was a bunch of guys racing like modifieds, and I'll tell you what, you talk about it, that was so much fun doing that.
Bob Dillner has also some information about Brad Layton. You've known this fella for a while.
I have. In fact, he's a 4-time track champion here at New Hampshire International, and he's having a ball this weekend. Of course, it's his first race back to the series this year. That is not only a new team, it's a new car and a new sponsor, and right now the car is just a little bit too loose for Brad's liking. They wanted to make an adjustment, but they thought maybe just leave it the way it was during their pit stop, but right now just a little too loose.
Running in 7th position as we watch a battle for the lead. Santerre is drawn up behind, alongside. He's all over the 56 of Martin Truex Jr. So your points leader is definitely having a run at it here for first place as laps begin to wind down into the 2nd half.
Did you see that last lap, Brian? I mean, that was a gentleman deal. He got into the throttle, the car stuck, and then he had to get back out because it was pushing just a little bit. It looks like he's got it now.
Inside goes Andy Santerre. Martin Truex Jr. up on the high lines, a longer way around the racetrack, but he's holding tough out there. Santerre edges ahead, but they go side by side at New Hampshire International, and Martin Truex Jr. still has the advantage.
It is so tough. See how he's pinching. Martin Truex is pinching him down, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to maintain the lead. But when you push the guy down there, he loses all his momentum if you pinch him off too much.
It's a game of chicken on the brakes going into turns 1 and 3 here. Truex Jr. holds on to the advantage. So Andy Santerre had a look down low, but all that did was stir up Martin Truex Jr. a little bit to try harder to keep the lead.
And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Andy's sitting there laughing right now, because like I say, he's cagey. You never know what he's got left.
So he's shown the kid a wheel down low. Andy Santerre and Martin Truex Jr., the pole sitter, fastest in practice this morning. Again, had the swagger of a confident young man with a very good race car.
That is such a cool shot. That camera, they had a few shots of that. When they get into the corner and they let off the gas, you can just about see that front bumper drag the racetrack. You can tell who is really hard on the brake and who's conservative.
Going through some traffic right now as they work around the 98 of John Sorbonne. We saw him get some pretty heavy right front damage as he clipped the back of the 2 car a while ago. Lane Chase around on the racetrack. So they go around the 98 car, and this battle for the lead continues. Andy Santerre, the 2002 Busch North Series champion and points leader in 2003. Car owner Joe Bessie looking to go to victory lane here today, and we got a problem with the 22 car right now as Joey McCarthy, another former winner here at New Hampshire International.
He kept it out of harm's way there. I think that that it didn't get in the race. Oh, no, maybe it did. Caution's coming out.
Caution's coming out. We got fluid on the racetrack, maybe, but for sure we've got Kerry Heath around in the number 12 car from Seabrook, New Hampshire, in the Aubuchon Hardware entry. And Kerry Heath, for those of you that do not know, is the daughter of the car owner, John Heath, and the crew chief. So the crew chief has just seen his daughter spin around, hit the wall pretty hard. And another caution has come out here 71 laps into this 125 lap race.
Here it is right here.
Take another look. The tail end of it. She's around apparently by herself.
I mean, there is again, wow, did that thing get up in the air. Again, if you could, I mean, if you've got a little bit too much rear brake bias in the car, that could also make that happen. If you get on the brake, you know, hard getting into the corner and the rear wheels lock up, all it takes is a split second and that thing just snaps out.
So everything was going just fine for Kerry Heath up until that very moment. She has brought out the most recent caution while running in 26th position. We'll be back here to New Hampshire International in a moment.
Welcome back to New Hampshire International Speedway for the Busch North Series. This guy, he was a favorite in this race. Teddy Christopher, you've won here before, but now you're out. Why?
I don't know. Something's going on with the motor. I mean, it just started laying down real bad halfway down the straightaway to the end. Guys were passing me like it was the modified draft, and so, you know, instead of wrecking the thing, we're not running for points or anything. Bring it back, see what happens with the motor, and you know, get ready for Watkins Glen. And
we're going to let Teddy go because he's got to hop in that Beamer that you see behind him and head off to Waterford Speedball tonight to run an SK Modified.
Four-time winner here at New Hampshire International. Lights are out on the pace car. Your leader is going to be Martin Truex Jr., who has led most of the laps in this race out of the 74 that have been completed so far. He gave up the lead briefly, but took it back again just a little while ago and continues to lead. Correction on Joey McCarthy, who we saw a while ago in the 22 car. Not a winner here, but a winner this season 2 races ago at Holland. At Holland Speedway, had a breakthrough win, his first in the Busch North Series. He's having trouble, and we've got a real point shakeup in progress, including McCarthy, who was in 7th position, McDonald 8th. We're talking about Eddie McDonald. All have had problems here today, along with Matt Kobieluk. So we've got a real shakeup in the points, and the beneficiaries of that, Jeff Fuller, are going to be Ryan and Kelly Moore, and also Mike Johnson is going to be really moving up through the points now. So it's been point shakeup time all season long here in the Busch North Series, and here at New Hampshire, nothing changes.
Here we go. That was a good pass right there.
Looking at the 60, at the 98 car of John Sorbonne. The 68 car, Brandon Miller. I'll get it right here. The 96, Mike Johnson. That's the one we were just talking about. He'll benefit in the points. Currently 9th. He'll move up because drivers ahead of him in wholesale numbers have had problems. So Johnson now, sensing that he can really take advantage with a good finish as well, moves inside the 61 of Mike Olson. Olson currently 12th in points. So these guys are fighting not only for position on the racetrack, but for scrambling the championship too.
And that's all it takes is one bad week like that. That's why consistency. I mean, you don't have to go out and win all the races, but if you can consistently, you know, finish in the top 5, top 8, you know, whatever it is, that's what rewards the points.
And creeping into the picture is the number 35 car, Brad Layton, 7-time winner here at New Hampshire International. He's inside on the 61 for position, and that's for 5th. And somebody's going South and Sauer, the 99 car, pulling down below the racing line, and he's got sparks coming out from underneath the car.
Right
Greg Schaefer.
Right front is right down on the rim.
And so is the nose of the car. So he's got chassis dragging underneath, the nose of the car dragging in front, and the right front tire down. He's off the racing line and traveling very slowly down the backstretch. He'll be able to use part of the road racing course to get to pit lane.
Looks like he got in the wall. See how far the left rear is out? It looks like he's got the painted rod bent in the rear end. I mean, that's pushed way off to the left there.
It does indeed. Seems as though he's had an impact with the wall here at New Hampshire International. Meanwhile, the leader, Martin Truex Jr. and Andy Santerre, the points leader, go by on the backstretch. Take another look at what happened to Greg Schaefer.
There it is right here. Right. Oh, he may have gotten help there. That was a three-wide move.
3 wide on the racetrack, and the third man in that line was Greg Schaefer up against the wall. You can see the right front damage as the leaders and the most of the cars that he was racing with shuffled by. And another look. A few laps before, we had some 2 and 3 wide racing going on too.
Tom Carey was one of them.
And a little contact.
Uh-oh.
And that's the 32 getting inside. That's Dale Quarterly, who had come down pit road and come back out on to the racetrack, but no caution in among all of that as Dale Quarterly got into Tim Andrews there. Quarterly running in 11th spot. Andrews with problems back in 17th. Martin Truex Jr. stretching a bit of a lead on Santerre now in the 74 of Moore, still stalking right behind. An 8th place battle going on here with the 55 of Mike Stefanik.
I was just going to say, come on, but Mike Stefanik's going to make an outside move here. Look at him starting under. Look at that shot right there. I was just going to say, Stefanik almost had an outside move put on there, and I'm glad to see him running. He's had a real tough season too.
The driver he put the move on was number 29, Dave Dion, one of the real veterans of this series at age 59. Probably wouldn't want us to say that, because he's racing like a kid out there. Dave Dion in the number 29 car. And he is currently in 8th position. The 32 of Quarterly still looking okay in spite of some contact out there.
Just put a move on Stefanik like it was tied to a post.
Mike Stefanik, one of the former winners, 9 former winners of this race in the field here today, including Brad Layton, Kelly Moore, Ted Christopher, who we just heard from, and now a battle for 4th that involves the 35, and that's Mr. Busch North, Brad Layton there, Mr. New Hampshire International anyway, with 7 wins at this racetrack.
Mike Johnson's right there and just about playing bumper tag.
Johnson's best finish of the season, 2nd at Lake Erie this season. .41 laps remain, as you can see. All the standings at the top of your screen. Layton in 4th, Johnson 5th, and the 61 of Olson. Mike Olson, to be exact, running in 6th. Another good battle there. The 09. Brian Chu, haven't seen a lot of him yet in that Torco sponsored entry. And the 03, Tom Carey. A couple of guys who we haven't seen much of so far. Chu currently 14th and gets Carey loose.
He's in the gas and says it's got such good butt I can't back off, but that was he just got some damage there, but that should not affect him. That was just a tiny little baby tap right there.
Tom Carey, 23rd in points, his best finish of the season, a win at Stafford, the 2nd visit to that racetrack this season, and he edges ahead in that 03 car.
I think he won at Thompson too.
Indeed he did.
Yeah,
2 wins for the season, his most recent being Thompson.
That's what I can't understand. I mean, this guy here comes out and just plays a couple, 3 times, and each time he comes out, it's like, you know, I don't know what it is. Is it because they're so refreshed that they don't have the grind of running the whole season, or do they know something? Are they smarter than the average bear? I mean, they run so good.
Maybe it's stay right on the side of his car. They get right, they stay right. But here's that battle for the lead, and Santerre has tried it a couple of times. Martin Truex Jr., the pole sitter, has led almost every lap, as we've mentioned, and he is very unwilling to give up the lead in spite of the best efforts of the points leader, Andy Santerre.
No, if Martin Truex Jr. can lead this race, Martin Truex Jr. will lead this race.
70 laps so far out of 87 that we have completed. Santerre is looking all over. He's looked low, he's looked low, he's looked low. Maybe he needs to do that fake left, go right thing and try that high groove here today. Is it coming in yet?
You know, it's a little too early for that. We got 88 laps here. It's a little bit early for that.
So Martin Truex Jr. leading lap after lap after lap, but we're getting down to the ones that count. 88 laps down, that means 37 to go. We'll see in a moment. Welcome back to the New England 125. This battle for the lead just stays as the best one on the racetrack. You love it when the best race between two cars is for first place.
They definitely have been going tooth and nail here for a few laps. And again, I mean, I hate to reiterate, but this Andy Santerre, you see, I still think he's got a little bit left. You can see how smooth he is holding the wheel, and I'm sure that Martin's looking in the mirror a little bit.
He's got Andy Santerre certainly has Martin Truex Jr. thinking about it. Now Santerre's going to have to swing up wide around the 75 car of Jack Sellers.
And depending on where you catch these lap cars, I mean, if you catch them on a straightaway and they're low, or depending on where you catch them in the corner, but sometimes if you catch them when you enter in the corner, you got to enter the corner a little bit higher than what you normally do. It can definitely mess your lap time up.
56 is your leader in the Sea-Watch International Chevrolet. Andy Santerre is your points leader in the Aubuchon Hardware Chevy. And let's go down to Bob Dillner for more on Andy Santerre.
Well, Andy Santerre became a daddy on May 5th. He had a beautiful daughter by the name of Sarah Elizabeth, and she is here at the racetrack, but she has never visited Victory Lane. His wife, Sue, told me they want to visit Victory Lane and bring that baby for the first time ever to Victory Lane in the Busch North Series.
That's what you call christening in the racing world.
She's getting into it.
There's Mom. And the little one, well, if Andy Santerre can get to Victory Lane, we'll certainly look forward to seeing his daughter there with him. Santerre with 130 starts and 16 wins counting this season. He'd like to make it 17.
He went down and ran the Busch South cars, did a really good job down there, and thought it was time to come back home, and he's been really successful in this division. Always has been.
We'll continue to watch this battle for the lead as Andy Santerre has tried, but he just hasn't done it. Not yet anyway. Will he when we come back? Wait and see. Welcome back once again to the New England 125, and we're watching other battles developing out there on the racetrack as the money laps wind down with 31 laps remaining. Here's a couple of guys having a ball out there. The 17th, that's Ed McDonald. Haven't seen a lot of him in this race yet either. The Autotrader.com Chevrolet. Now we go back up to the front. Santerre has it another look, and you can see that almost contact. These two have made contact, but it was coming off pit road. They've been racing each other very cleanly out there on the track. You get the feeling that Santerre is making sure that Martin Truex Jr. knows he's there.
Yeah. And like I say, they've raced enough that they have a lot of confidence to show. Somebody's smoking a 98 there.
Oh, John
Fender too.
John Cervone, well, the front end damage to his car from the impact earlier in the race. Right. Santerre riding about a half a groove. Dale Quarterly in the 32, and Kelly Moore, the dad, goes all the way around and saves it. That's experience for you, folks. Gets back in the gas and keeps on going.
Yeah, caution's out, though.
But caution is out.
That's kind of good for him. I mean, he didn't stall the motor and pull the caution intentionally. The smoke got put up there, and they did a great job. I mean, this tractor's got a sealer on it. When you spin, the smoke is almost green the way it comes up, and to see through that is nearly impossible. So like I say, you really got to rely on your spotter. That was a battle for 7th position. Obviously, Quarterly going for it, and Kelly Moore defending it. They got together. Might say no blood, no foul. Here comes another look. All right, he came in too low, the 32. He came in underneath the yellow line. And like I say, I mean, you're going to have that when they're running. If it was just a case to go down, turn the wheel and step on the gas and do that, everybody would be doing this. They are on the edge every single lap, and that was just a deal where he just got down there a little bit too low. The car pushed up a little bit, he got into Kelly. And Kelly stayed in the gas, kept the wheel cranked to the right, smoke pouring off the tires. Now he's grabbing another gear at this point and just take off. And everybody missed him. Kelly Moore, a big, major high-five attaboy for a great save by the driver of the number 47 Napa Auto Parts entry. We'll be right back. Are my tires flat now?
Still under caution, but the lights are out on the pace car once again here at the New England 125, the NASCAR Grand National Division Busch North Series. Round number 8 for 2003 here at New Hampshire International. One of the real crown jewels in the season of racing in the Busch North. And your leader is Martin Truex Jr., your pole sitter. He's led most of the laps. In fact, I think all but 17 at last count. The ones that really count are the ones coming up. So he stands on the gas at the green flag, tries to hold off Andy Santerre with 26 to go.
Yeah, these are really going to be the exciting laps right here. The others were just, you know, they're just getting warmed up in this and that, but they're going to take no prisoners here at the end of this.
And running in third position is Ryan Moore, the number 74 car. Dad Kelly Moore just had a great save, went from 7th to 17th, but kept it on the racetrack. And here comes Andy Santerre again with Ryan Moore watching a great race in front of him.
You can see them guys actually trump on the gas in the middle of the corner there, and some of them are getting a really good bite, others are a little bit loose. Oh, here we go.
Santerre looking down again, and Truex, if he's loose, it's a very little bit coming off the corner. Uses every bit of the racetrack coming up off turn 2.
Watch this balance, Ray. Watch this. Bam! See, I mean, there's such a fine line of leaving. You don't ever want to leave a lane to get in there. You can leave 15/16 of a lane, but never a full lane. And they usually, the rule of thumb is they won't try it on the outside here, so he will protect the bottom.
And the 35 just took the spot away from Ryan Moore. Brad Layton moves to 3rd. So in the closing laps of this race, maybe Brad Layton, the winningest driver in Busch North here at New Hampshire International, might be edging into the picture.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
And in the father and son battle, Kelly and Ryan Moore, father and son respectively, have had a pretty good, you know, head-to-head deal all season long with, and it's just about even at this point. We're counting up who finished ahead of who in every race. Right now, Martin Truex, Andy Santerre, best race on the track. Ryan Moore just lost the spot to Brad Layton, who is just out of this picture right here as we watch the 2 leaders, or the 2 cars going for the lead. Again, Santerre pulls right up to the bumper, but Truex is able to drive off the corner and hold the spot. Here comes Brad Layton, though, in that Irving Oil number 35. Started 3rd, running 3rd. That does not tell the story. They've been in and out of the pits, all the cars right now, and pretty much everybody's ready to go to the checkered flag. Haven't taken on the only 2 tires that they were allotted. There's Mike Stefanik in the number 55 car. He's in 16th position, and Bob Dildner has more on that car.
The reason why he is so far back is because he had to pit during that last caution, and a bad tire is what they had. You could take a look at this badly blistered tire with the rubber just peeling off of it. This is the reason why he had to come down pit road. And Dale Quarterly's crew in the 32 car, they think they have the same problem.
That thing will shake your teeth loose like that. When they start doing that, you could see the cords in that tire. Man, that thing must have been horrible to drive.
Stefanik just taking the 15th position away from the 15 car, Bobby Dragon, in his Waste Management Chevrolet. So Stefanik with a blistered tire back out on the racetrack, picking up spots. He's going to run out of laps before he gets all the way to the front, perhaps, as he comes up behind and now under the 47 of Kelly Moore. And behind the number 68, Brandon Miller, back out on the racetrack after that huge impact.
Look at that Dyson. I mean, he is not giving up.
Brandon Miller, in spite of his difficulty in that huge incident earlier, is running in 13th position. And the 47 of Kelly Moore is coming up behind him. Now we go to the lead once again. And that was probably Santerre's best look down inside since we saw him go side by side about 40 laps ago.
See, if you take that groove away, if you start coming down the track a little bit earlier like what he's doing, you're taking the groove away, because Andy knows if he gets down there, the car is going to slide up. He doesn't want to slide up into him. He doesn't want to win the race like that, even though, yes, he could, but he's a clean driver. Like I say, he's setting him up right now. I still say that he's got something left.
And I say that Brad Layton is going to put some shivers in both of them as he's coming up behind Santerre. All Andy Santerre had to deal with was trying to get around Martin Truex, and now he's got to deal with holding off Brad Layton.
And now he's going to deal with looking in the mirror too. I mean, I don't know.
That's two tough jobs.
Right. That's real tough. That's why he gets paid the big bucks, though.
So Andy Santerre right now is kind of the meat in the sandwich. That's not where he wants to be. The battle for the lead here at the New England 125 is just getting good. If you've just tuned in, you've tuned in to what might be the best part of the New England 125. Brian Drever along with Jeff Fuller upstairs, Bob Dillner down on pit road. Your leader is Martin Truex Jr., the man who has started from the pole. 16 laps remain. He's trying to hold off the points leader and a man looking for his 8th win here at New Hampshire International. Wow.
This is going to turn into an excellent race right here.
Well, it's already pretty good, and it's just bound to get better because there's only one lap that counts, and that's the one in between the white flag and the checkered hanky on a stick.
That's right. It doesn't matter about the beating and banging when it comes to that lap.
Nope. They'll bring those cars to pit road with donuts down both sides and maybe on a wrecker if they have to as they cross the line with 15 laps remaining. Martin Truex Jr., the young man trying to hold on against two veteran drivers back there, one of whom's the points leader and the other man who's won more races here than anyone. 23 years of age, 24, just turned 24. Martin Truex Jr. Here comes Andy Santerre down inside. He's been able to get the nose in there, but that's all. Santerre, the Auto-Shawn hardware number 6, the 56 of Martin Truex Jr. The Sea-Watch International Chevy. And the Irving Oil entry of Brad Layton. New team, new car, new everything. Man just starting to feel good. He said he's been fighting the flu or a cold or something all week. It took him 111 laps to really start feeling his oats, and now he is. Santerre having another look down inside.
Yep, that's the best medicine for him right now. I mean, that car is running flawless, and like I say, what do we got here? We got about 23 laps? No, 13 laps left to go here, and there we go.
Truex still holding on. Santerre is there. Brad Layton sizing them both up. And the way he ran around to get 3rd position and then close the gap on the leaders, you have to figure that Brad Layton has got something in that 35 car.
Yeah, all right, now.
Here comes Santerre again. Can he make it move? Ducks down low, pulls up alongside. But here's where Martin Truex has been able to drive off the corners and hold on.
No.
But now Andy Santerre alongside. Maybe contact, probably not.
Now this right here, believe it or not, whoever Layton wants to go, I'm sorry, yeah, Brad Layton, whoever he wants to go with actually helps the guy too from the little bit of a
we almost had a real push to go along with the arrow push you're trying to talk about.
Right, the draft there, because that does help.
So Layton drops in line. They go around some lap cars, specifically the 75 of Sellers and the 5 car, which is still wiggling around. Barney McRae. The leaders quickly clear that. Now we've got side by side for 2nd. As Brad Layton moves down inside on Andy Santerre, and there's what I was talking about. He caught him so quickly you'd think he must have the fastest car on the track right now.
But what happened just there is he actually got forced down to the yellow line too, and it de-wedged car a little bit. He got to the middle of the corner, it was side by side, but if you get back in the gas too quick, you're just going to slam up into the guy.
De-wedging the car, getting the wheels over the yellow line onto the flatter part of the racetrack, upsets the balance of the car. Now, with that, Truex Jr. gets a little breathing room. The battle going on behind him is helping the leader. And the 75 tire down. Jack Sellers looks like he has a cut tire on the right side of the race car, and it's the front one. That's the one that gets the most abuse here. Will he be able to stay down low and not bring out a caution? 9 laps to go, it looks like it.
It doesn't look like the tire will go off any debris out there, so they probably will stay green.
So Martin Truex Jr. trying to hold off Andy Santerre, who's trying to hold off Brad Layton. One more quick commercial break. We'll come right back and run to the checkers here at New Hampshire.
Martin Truex.
Welcome back to New Hampshire. Hampshire International Raceway, where Martin Truex Jr. is trying to hold off the likes of Andy Santerre. And you know what? Senior, Martin Truex Sr., your son's out there leading this race right now, but can he hold on?
I get what you're saying, but right now we're a little tight. We've been tight the whole race. I think Andy's just a tick better than we are, but he gets up behind us, it freezes up enough that, you know, we can stay out there. So we need to get another 5 laps out of it. So we'll see how it goes. He's been complaining the whole race, so we'll let him complain 5 more laps.
Dad is an accomplished racer here too. He's run modifieds and the Busch North Series. And how about Junior? He's also been running the Busch South Series, doing really well in Dale Jr.'s car.
Well, Junior won here in his rookie season in 2000, and that was after Martin Truex Sr.'s only Busch North win came here at New Hampshire International in 1994. So they're looking for win number 2 and win number 3 as a family here at this racetrack. Around the outside of the 93 car, Travis Benjamin running in 21st position in that 93 car, that Belfast Variety entry. But this battle for the lead is really heating up, and helping is the fact that there's a lot of traffic in front of them.
I say, if you catch these lap cars at the time that he just did, entering the corner, you're going to move up a little bit. It'll actually, your lap time will probably slow down 3/10 a lap if you catch them in the wrong spot. It looks like one of them did.
Well, I liked what Dad said about they're a little bit tight, and when Andy Santerre comes up behind him, puts a little bit of push on the back end of that car, frees it up, loosens it up,
but
handles better.
I'll tell you, Brian, I would much rather be a little bit too tight than a little bit too free. These cars here with the bias ply tires, you can stand to be a little bit free, but on the radial tires like the counterparts, the Busch South cars, you don't want to be loose.
So the 56 car holding on to the lead. We're 4 laps to go, coming up on 3. Andy Santerre, it's now or never as he takes another look down low. Will he make a little contact? Will he do a bump and run? He's been racing awful clean up to now, but you know what? When the white flag starts waving, things get a little different.
Things get a little different, but Andy may be looking at it as a point situation. I mean, it all depends. If it's a clean shot, I know he's going to try it. I just don't think anything dirty will happen.
Well, Truex is not a factor for the championship, while Andy Santerre is your points leader. Will he accept a second-place finish and maintain his points lead, or will he go for the win? Win number 4 for the season for Santerre, and for Truex, it would be his first this year. Make that his second win. He would have his second win of the season, Martin Truex Jr., if he's able to pull it off here at New Hampshire International. And the charge mounted by Brad Layton seems to have faded just a little bit. Layton is there, but maybe he made his best effort and realizes that he's got a 3rd-place car here today. Or if something happens to the 2 cars in front of him, he comes to victory lane.
That was just a little bit of a nudge right there.
Andy Santerre pushing hard as they come up on the white flag lap. 1 to go at New Hampshire International Speedway for the win. 3 cars, including a 24-year-old young man who has led this race almost from the beginning. He's led almost every lap, indeed, from the beginning. Andy Santerre, your points leader, and the man who's won more times here than anyone else, Brad Layton.
It's going to be a tough thing unless he...
Santerre inside. Will there be some contact? He backs out. Andy Santerre backs out. Lets Martin Truex Jr. keep it together. Layton's going for second on the left side, but they're going to finish in the same order they started the final lap. Martin Truex Jr. will win it, but what an exciting finish to this Busch North race here at Loudon.
That was a great finish right there.
Andy Santerre got up inside, could have bumped him and run on by, but he didn't do it. And instead, he let the young man gather it up to pick up his 2nd win of the season. And his 2nd win here at New Hampshire International. Let's go down to Bob Dillner now with the crew chief.
Mike Creechy is the crew chief for Martin Truex Jr., and he's speaking to his driver on the headset right now. What do you think about that? That was quite the finish.
Well, I'll tell you, Andy was probably the best driver to have behind us of anybody. He drove us clean. Our car was tight. We ended up with a tight set of tires. We were tight in the middle, but we got into the corner good and we got off the corner good. I mean, if it wouldn't be for the guys that help us so much, you know, we got performance technology, perky bodies, and we got Billy Hess chassis. I mean, we got a combination of 3 good things. We got a great bunch of guys here, too. I mean, and it wouldn't be, I can thank Martin and his father here. I mean, and everybody from Sea-Watch. You know, if it wouldn't be for them, we wouldn't be doing this. Kid's going to be a hell of a race car driver, I can tell you that.
Well, his dad has his thumbs up right now. Martin, what do you think about your boy?
Good run, boy. We didn't give him the best car today, but he stayed tough the whole time. He complained from lap 20 on, you know. We just, for some reason, we're just a little tighter today than what we were in happy hour, but the kid wants it bad, so he just had to get up on the wheel and earn it.
Go celebrate, guys.
Well, Martin Truex Jr. in the second race of the season, he was a winner at Stafford. He came home second the second time they visited that racetrack. He was third in the most recent race at Thompson. He's returned to victory lane here today for his second win of the 2003 season. He's heading down there. Perhaps he will put on a show for the fans here at New Hampshire International Speedway. He's taken that number 56 car to victory lane. We'll take a look at our top 10. Andy Santerre and Brad Layton gave him a heck of a run at the end. Ryan Moore, son beats the dad here today. Mike Johnson will move up in the points. Dale Quarterly battled some adversity to finish in 7th, and the track record holder Brian Hoare comes home in 10. So an exciting finish. We're still palpitating just a little bit. We'll try to calm down along with you at home. We'll come back and hear from the winner. In a word, wow, what a finish here at New Hampshire International Speedway in Loudon for the New England 125. Round 8 of the NASCAR Busch North Series was a thriller. Right down to the end. We didn't know how it was going to turn out, but it turned out in favor of the driver of the number 56 car, Martin Truex Jr. He's with Bob Dillner.
In victory lane for the second time here at the Magic Mile, Martin Truex Jr. He climbs out of his mount and he is a happy camper. I'm going to get out of the way for a second because there goes the Powerade, a big celebration, hands in the air, and here comes the crew dousing him with Busch beer here in victory lane. I'm going to get up a little bit close to you, but you probably stink right now, but I'm sure you don't mind.
Man, what a race car. These guys are awesome. Same race car we've run here for years, man. We just put a new perky body on it and brand new PT engine under the hood. Billy Hess chassis. Doesn't get no better than this. Man, I didn't have the best car today. We had the best car all weekend, but 50 to go, I thought I was a sitting duck. Andy was pretty good. You know, I run as hard as I could. He'd get under me. I could hold him down on the bottom. I think I made him pretty loose when he's down there, and I just kept trying to do it, and it worked out.
He was breathing down your neck. Those last corners there, he got underneath you. How much were you driving with your mirror?
Man, I was 50 to go. I was everything I had for every lap, man. The right front tire was starting to chatter with 30 to go. I just got so tight, and that's what I was worried about today. Was getting tight. I didn't think we were going to, but we did. But we still we overcame it in one race, so it was a good race. Thank God Andy raced me clean. He's a class act to race with, and anybody else would knock me out of the way. But can't say enough about these Sea-Watch guys, man. This is great.
This is your second win here at the Magic Mile. What does winning mean to you?
Winning, man, this is what we all race for. We race to have fun and we race to win, and we do both of that with these guys. So I'm just glad to be here.
Martin Truex Jr. going to celebrate with the boys from the Sea-Watch team here in Victory Lane at New Hampshire.
Well, he certainly deserves the honors. A very confident young man. Take a look at the points. Boy, major shuffles going on here. Andy Santerre holds on to the lead. Ryan Moore moves up into second for the second time this season. Dad Kelly Moore actually manages to hang on because a lot of the guys below him had even more trouble than he did. But look how close it is among second, third, fourth, and look at fourth and fifth.
Yeah, that's a close point battle right there. You don't get any closer than that.
And it doesn't change when we go on through 6th through 10th. There's very definitely a lot of drivers in contention for the championship, but as long as Andy Santerre continues to run as well as he has, he'll be the points leader for a little while to come. So a terrific day of racing here. Shuffles the points almost completely. Matt Kobiluk goes from 2nd to 7th with his misfortune here today. Likewise, Joey McCarthy having some problems from 7th down to 9th. Brian Hoare actually moved from 11th up to 10th. So a good shuffle in the points championship here after this race at New Hampshire International. Once again, down to Bob Dillner on pit road.
And standing by with Ryan Moore, we talked about you a lot. One of those up-and-coming drivers, but that was a heck of a run for you today here at the Magic Mile.
Yeah, it really was. First time here racing, and the car was real good right up to lap 100. It was a little bit tight, and just kept getting worse and worse all day long. But Snow's Castleberry Market Basket here were on board for us, and just want to show them a good race. And I got to thank New England Racing Chassis down in North Carolina. They got a real good piece here, real good body on that car. Thing was just real stout all weekend. PCCW and Roush Motors, things were just real awesome. Get us down the straightaway. Car was good. The team worked real good together. First time here, you know, rookie team is a tough little racetrack, so everyone worked real good together. Got that thing going, wheeled it around as best we could.
Your dad is the king of Busch North Racing. What is it like to run him for the championship this year?
It's pretty neat. He's a tough guy, you know, but been expecting it and waiting for it for a long time. So it's been a real treat to get the family all at the same racetrack for the same weekend and get to hang out with all of them. You know, everyone's not running back and forth racetrack to racetrack, so it's been a lot of fun.
Ryan Moore, that's a name we're going to hear for a long time to come, guys.
And Ryan Moore just evened the score with Dad. It's 4 times son has finished ahead of father, 4 times father has finished ahead of son, and they're right next to each other in the championship as well. So
I don't know how you add all this stuff up. So the guy's over here whizzing like I got a headache watching him. He's doing all this himself, you know.
But a terrific run for this young man. We've got a lot coming up here on Speed. NASCAR Busch North, we mentioned, from Waterford Speed Bowl. That's our next TV broadcast. We're going to be at the Glen on August 23rd. Well, rather, you are going to be at the Glen August 23rd at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then back here at New Hampshire International, September 20th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. All that here on Speed as racing across America continues here with the NASCAR Grand National Division. Busch North, Winston West. We've got a lot of racing on your network for guy stuff, and that is Speed. A lot of fun here today, Jeff Fuller, and boy, what a finish.
That was a good finish. Like I say, I mean, this track, I think now has got, you could basically say we got a couple grooves here.
Let's go back down to Bob Dillner.
And we are standing by with a big Andy Santerre fan, of course, Sarah Elizabeth, your daughter, all of 2.5 months old. I know you wanted to bring her to victory lane, but this is not too bad, is it?
This isn't too bad. I really wanted to get this Aubuchon Brick Mill Chevy in victory lane, and all the folks from Castle are here too, and we really would like to get a win for him. But this is a great points day for us. Finished second to Truex Jr. He had a good car. I was better than him at the end, but track got a little slick. We were on the same tires we started, and this Goodyear tire worked out good today. But just want to thank all the people that support us, Joe and Nancy Bessie, for having such a great team. These guys work hard, and we brought a brand new car here and different motor and wanted to try it, and we got it going good. We were close. Made a wrong adjustment in the pits. We tightened it up. It was loose at the beginning. I think if we'd have left it alone, we might have had it, but a little bit too tight at the end. I couldn't make the pass without roughing him up, and he's always raced me clean, so I paid him back today. Didn't hit him, and we had a good run, so it was a good race.
And then you had somebody else on your rear bumper as you crossed the start-finish line there.
Yeah, Brad Layton, he was running real good. He could hang with us. When I get up beside Martin and we run side by side, Brad could catch us. Once we got single file and go again, we can pull away from him a little bit. But he made a last-ditch effort to finish second. And I blocked him a little bit and held him there. I don't think he just trying to make a show. So it was a good race. Brad's a good friend, and this is a great series. We're having a lot of fun. We're leading the points and having a great year. And most of all, we got the little one here with us to enjoy it. So it's a great day.
Maybe victory lane the next time for little Sarah?
That's what we're hoping. We'll try it. We won 3 this year, so we can't be hogging them all. You know, got to let some other guys have a chance.
And that's one proud papa.
And Bob, that's not a big Andy Santerre fan. Look how little she is. That's almost a brand new human, and the latest Andy Santerre fan. Andy with a string of now 8 consecutive top 10 finishes, a dream season that you would like to have in a championship. We want to remind you once again that the Busch North and Winston West drivers are trying to do something in addition to win their own championships. Top 15 in points are invited Saturday, November 8th to the Urbandale Speedway, and it's going to be live here on Speed, and that is going to be the Toyota grand finale of the season, the big money showdown, and it is going to be a lot of fun. The Toyota All-Star Showdown, but unlike most All-Star meets, this one's going to be serious.
No, it's going to be very serious. When you get that much money up for grabs, I mean, I think they're talking almost $500,000.
$500,000.
And when you get that much money up, no, there's no gentleman's agreement there.
We had some terrific racing here today. We can only imagine how much better it's going to get through the course of the season as those drivers try to qualify for that Toyota All-Star Showdown. And once again, let's go back downstairs to Bob Dillner.
This guy had a terrific race. Mike Johnson, you had to go to the back of the pack, run a backup car here, yet you finished in the top 5. Fabulous, huh?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it didn't start off too good with that wreck in practice this morning. Got into someone's oil and had to bring out the backup car. But I'll tell you, Johnson number 4 backup car was hooked up today and didn't even get one lap of practice with it. And she was going, just had the patience and put it in the right place at the right time and worked my way up. I tell you, didn't do a tire stop, gas and go, got us up there, and these Goodyear tires are really good.
The car was awesome, so it must have been fun today.
It was. It's always fun when you can start in the back and just keep going forward. I think Brad was the only guy that passed me, and he's always good here. So I tell you, it's glad to have that Roush power under my hood to get me up there.
Pretty good run today for Mike Johnson. Guys, believe it or not, he came from the back of the pack. That's pretty cool, isn't it, Fuller?
Yeah, that's real cool, especially on, you know, everybody says so hard to pass, but you know, when you can do that, that just proves to go. If you get the chassis dialed in, the motor's running right, and you got a, you know, a good day and a little bit of luck on your side that you can do it.
Well, Jason Janvrin, his crew chief, and the guys, they were working so hard. I mean, they pulled the car out that they used at Thompson, and it looked like they had just parked it, not expecting to use it here today. They had to bring it out of the hauler. They had to beat the bodywork back out. They didn't change the engine, which they said they had a more powerful engine in the car that was wrecked in practice this morning. So I guess Roush Power, even on their second best engine, got the job done. We're going to take another break here at New Hampshire International Speedway. We're going to come back. We're going to have some final thoughts. And we're going to remind you just what a great race it was. Well, in preparation for some more races coming up here at New Hampshire International Speedway later this weekend, NASCAR President Mike Helton and Director of Competition John Darby are out there getting hairdo by Hummer, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I would think so. Now, actually, I think what they're looking, they redid the track, the surface. They got a seal around it. They just want to make sure that there's no way that, you know, as hot as it was or whatever, that it's not starting to peel up or anything. And I'm sure that's just all they're looking at out there.
And in the meantime, Jeff Fuller's going to talk to Mike on the phone there, but we're going to go to Bob Dillner.
I'm sitting down on the job right now with Mike Olson, who's trying to relax after a pretty good sixth-place run, Mike.
Yeah, it was a great finish for us. Normally we're not a front runner here, so to speak, every time we come here, but this weekend we had a decent car all weekend. Didn't get the qualifying lap I had hoped to, but we hung right around there, the top 10, and then on a pit stop I gained a few positions. The guys did a great job, and I think we came out of there like in 6th or 7th. Got a couple more spots, ran 5th for a while, and then lost a few there at the end, ended up 6th. So we're happy overall. Great run for the Little Trees team, and we're headed in the right direction. We're just going to need to keep finishing like this.
Well, like Mike said, he is sponsored by Little Trees, and he had this checkered flag Little Tree that he was hoping to use in Victory Lane today at New Hampshire, but just a little bit short.
Well, Bob, open it up and smell what Victory Lane is like.
It smells like rubber.
It smells like beer right now.
Mike Olson equaling his second best finish of the season. He was actually 4th at Holland and finished 6th at the second race at Stafford this season and moved up in the points more importantly than that. So the crowd's starting to file out here today, but a terrific race. A lot of stories, you know, things really shuffled in the points as they have been all season, so there was nothing different about that. So we take another look at the unofficial results here. Martin Truex Jr. picking up his second win of the season. Andy Santerre continuing his streak of top 10 finishes, leads the points. And Brad Layton, boy, he did come up and put on a show there at the end. I mean, I thought it was going to be the case of, you know, 2 dogs fighting over a bone and a third one steals it.
He certainly, I mean, like I said, these guys that do it every week, and he just shows up once in a while. I'd be mad if I was the other teams, if somebody just came in into my playground and just took over. And
Dad Kelly Moore finishing in 12th after the save of the day, just behind Mike Stefanik. Brian Chu with a good run in 13th position. Bobby Dragon, we saw him late in the race, getting past for position. Dennis Demers leading the race in his first start of the season. So each and every man whose name and woman whose name in this case on the screen has got a story to tell, and they'll be telling them for a while. That is until the next race.
Yep, which won't be long.
No, it certainly won't. We got a full season of racing here in the Busch North Division, a lot of it on speed. You'll see most of it right here on your favorite network. All the results, as we mentioned, 39 cars that started the race, a few of them out early, including Matt Kobieluk, second in points. What a tough day he had here after he started at the back of the field, ran to the front, and then got caught up in an incident that took him right out of second in points and put him behind the wall early.
Ted Christopher, Dale Shaw, Paul Wolf, I mean, all those guys there, you figure to be in front of the pack, but...
And Carrie Heath, the female driver, in 31st position there. She had a problem in the race as well. Let's go once again down to Bob Dillner, working overtime.
That's right, and I'm a little bit out of breath because I just ran from Victory Lane all the way over to the media center to see this guy. But you're not out of breath. That was a heck of a run.
Yeah, it was a great run. You know, Irvin came on board with us this year. We're going to run 6 events. Loudon's one of my favorites, as you know. We've won here 7 times and had a lot of top 5s. So, you know, it was great. We ran the leaders down, Andy and Martin, but really couldn't do anything with them. We had a big arrow push through the middle of the corner, much like Andy. It's just nature of them Busch North cars today. So, hey, third place is not a bad finish. I've been fighting the cold all weekend, so I'll go home and get some rest tomorrow.
What about that bumping and banging there on the last turn of the last lap?
Yeah, I had a little bit of run on Andy, and I could see Andy's nose was right on the tail end of Martin, and Martin was holding Andy up a little bit. getting up off the corner, and I just didn't have a time to lift, and certainly wasn't going to lift. I'm glad it all finished out the way it did. As far as Andy straightening the car out and getting across the finish line, certainly wouldn't want to have taken him out of that position. He's a great champion. He's well on his way to his second one.
Brad has been the king of New Hampshire before, and I'm sure he'll return to that throne sometime soon, but third place for him today.
Well, Jeff, we heard him talking about fighting a cold. We show you again what's coming up in the Racing Across America series here on Speed. NASCAR Busch North events at Waterford Speed Bowl. August 16th, you'll see it. August 23rd from Watkins Glen, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. These are all Saturdays, I believe. And then September 20th, we're back here at Loudon once again at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll see it on Speed. We hope you join us at the racetrack in addition to watching us on television. But Brad Layton, I go back to the story where he was working it out with his crew, where if they asked him questions because he couldn't talk back, he would push the button once if it was good, twice if it was bad. Obviously, there was more good than bad here today. For Bob Dillner and Jeff Fuller, I'm Brian Drebber. See you next time.